So 3 months ago, I had to have a urological procedure done which required general anesthesia. And to get general anesthesia approved, you have to get a clearance from your cardiologist. Okay, fine. I went and I failed. For the first time, I had a bad EKG. And I was like, what does that mean? So the doctor says, well, you're going to have to go get a catheterization, and they may have to put a stent in. And I said, okay, how does this work? And he says, well, if they need to put a stent in, they will, and you'll have to spend the night and make sure everything's good, and then you can go home. If they don't put a stent in, you go home right away. Okay, great. When am I doing that? He said, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Okay, is this a rush? He said, well, it's a rush because you failed the EKG, but you also have a scheduled for your other surgery in 3 days. Okay, so I go to St. Peter's. I get the catheterization. I come out of the anesthesia from that. Didn't know why I could have anesthesia for that. And I failed the whole thing, so I scratched my head, but I didn't think of that until afterward. Maybe I should go get my urological thing done now, but I was very confused. And then they said, well, we didn't put a stent in. I said, excellent, I'm going home. Oh, no, you're not. You need to stay. We have to do some tests. I'm like, tests? Yeah, we had a problem with the catheterization, but can't talk about that right now. What? So I don't know much, but they're keeping me. And I learned that I have to take some tests. I do the tests, and finally somebody comes and tells me, you need to stay in, we're going to need to admit you. And I said, for what? And they said, we're going to have a surgeon tell you. So a surgeon comes to meet me and says, you need bypass surgery. I just need a urological procedure. What are you bypassing? and he's very nervous talking to me, and I didn't really like it, and I was very confused, and I'm like, why? I want to go home. So I'm thinking about discharging myself. And I was connected to a PA that was helping me, and she was really fantastic, and she convinced me to stay and go through the test and just make sure everything's okay. It's such a long, beautiful, amazing story, but I don't have 25 minutes to tell it. So I'm going to zoop up to the punchline, which is the doctors didn't want to operate and give me a bypass because I was a high-risk patient. I have diabetes, and they finally disclosed to me that I had 3 arteries that were 100% blocked and 2 that were 90% blocked. I needed a quintuple bypass. And the surgeons weren't happy to do it because the last quintuple bypass they did at St. Peter's, the gentleman didn't make it. The quintuple before that, which was 10 years ago, that guy didn't make it either. So they were all nervous about this. Well, good thing, because I was nervous too. And I said to the surgeon, what are you going to do? Ship me to Albany Med? Like, that's not on my radar screen. I don't want that. And some miracle happened, and they called a surgeon who used to be the chief cardiac surgeon at St. Peter's. He retired in 2018. And they called and asked him if he would operate on me. They sent him my stuff. He looked at it and said, I cannot operate on this guy. He's already dead. And they said, no, he's alive and he's admitted. And he said he cannot be alive with this kind of blockage. The person made an arrangement for him to call me. The doctor called me on my cell phone, said, I'm going to fly up there right now. I'll be there at 4 o'clock. Can you please be in the meeting, in your room with your healthcare proxy? Yeah, I could do that. He says, I don't talk to parents, I don't talk to spouses, I don't talk to children, and I most certainly don't talk to friends. Just healthcare proxies. So he comes and he meets with us, and he basically shakes it down and says, you have a 50-50 chance of surviving this surgery. Things do not look good. But I'm going to do the surgery, and you need to be with me in the surgery. I said, well, where else am I going to be? And I was talking just like that. And for whatever reason, I was being okay about the whole thing. And the doctor said, look, Michael, I'm going to tell you something. My healthcare proxy left, just me and the surgeon. And the surgeon said, Michael, I got to tell you something. I'm a real spiritual person. I'm from India. I'm sorry about my accent, but I just want you to understand, you need to be with me. You need to have a will to live. And you need to really want this. And that magic of your energy will bring us together, and then we will get through this. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about what the other surgeons are nervous about. We have one job to do together, and that's to see you on the other side of the surgery. And I said, Doc, I'm in. I said, but I want to go home. Can I do this a different time? And he's, I'm supposed to go out to dinner tonight. He says, Michael, you don't have 72 hours to live. I will bet my family that you will not survive 72 hours. If I let you go, you're going to die. I said, all right, well, let me think about this. If I go home, I'm going to die. And if I go into surgery, I got 50-50 shot at getting through it. I'll take those odds. I'll go with you. 6 a.m. I mean, we're talking 12 hours later, we're in surgery. 8 hours was the surgery. Hour number 3, I died. My kidneys failed. And that was the risk issue that everybody was talking about. He says, okay, he pronounced me dead. He asked to get my healthcare proxy's phone number off his phone. The nurse went to get it. The nurse comes back and she looks at the screen and she says, Doc, look. And she points at the big screen and my kidneys are pumping like crazy. And he said, I've been a surgeon for 30 years. I've never seen that happen. Let's get back to work. So they finished the surgery. Of course, I wasn't there for this. I was definitely in another planet. But this is what I was told. And I said to the doctor the next morning when he came to say goodbye to me, because he was flying back to Florida, he said, Michael, we did it. I said, yeah, Doc, your skill and my will, we joined together and we did what you asked me. And I can't believe I'm here. I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled. So what I'm getting rid of, or letting go of, is 2019. It was a pretty tough year for me on a lot of levels. That was the most serious test. But 2020, speaking from me at least, is a year of vision. And my vision is fun, happiness, good health, and not worrying about much anymore, because the small things really don't matter. Thank you.